Okay, hi. So, I'm sure you've heard the news. We're getting a Homestuck anime. I'm calling it the Vivziepop Homestuck animated pilot, but it's not really. I hope, based on the information we have, that Vivziepop isn't actually gonna have that big of a part in it. She's not animating it. She's not writing it. It's literally just like her team. We're not getting the skinny twink art style, thankfully. But I wanted to come on here and just get this out into the world, my predictions, so that I can say I was right when these things happen, because I know they are going to happen. This is if it goes anywhere, because right now we just have the trailer for a pilot, not even the actual pilot. We have no idea if this is actually going to get, like, greenlit for an actual series. We just have a trailer. So, I think in most universes, which we are living in the worst timeline, but I think in most universes, then maybe it would just be left at a pilot. Very low chance that this would ever actually be finished. But maybe it would be if some sort of contractual thing happened. I don't know how any of this works. I'm literally just a they. If it were to get full entirety of Homestuck Act 6, everything, this is what I think it would happen. So first of all, I think it's going to be very queer-centric, which is not a bad thing, but I think that maybe they're going to sort of censor or just, like, ignore all of the other, like, parts of the series. There's gonna be so many egg jokes. I feel like that's definitely gonna be, like, at least written subtextually about June, which... June Egbert Pumpkin in the background. Say hi to her. Oh, you guys like my shirt? Yeah, I have a really nice shirt. Anyways, I feel like they're really gonna try to, like, write a lot of things around that. And fanon in general, like, surrounding queerness. Or, like, some sort of, like, retconning to make it more, like, obvious within, like, the way she talks or anything. Maybe some other characters will be trans, too. Maybe we'll get Trans Mask Roxy, maybe we'll get Trans Femme Roxy, because both of those things are kind of canon in their own ways. I think that maybe when it comes to, like, the other, like, non-queerness related things, like the disability stuff and the race stuff, I think it might be sort of like if it's like, if you know, situation, like, actually with, like, everything controversial, I feel like that is, like, the way they would have to go about it. I can't see another way for them to go about it that wouldn't have, like horrible outcomes. I don't think there's any way to adapt Homestuck that isn't gonna have, like, a bunch of people really, really mad, honestly. Like, maybe, like, the assault stuff will just be, like, weird, like, throwaway jokes. Like, I feel like they're never actually gonna dive into it in, like, even a serious way. Like, even when the original Homestuck, like, went into serious topics and they, like, joked about it, like, it was still, like, being treated as, like, an actual narrative plot point. I feel like this is just gonna be like, oh, but I should mention, I have never seen anything Vivziepop in my life. I have no idea what happens in any of her other shows. Other than that, I think they look very interesting. Visually, they do look interesting. I'm so happy she has nothing to do with the art style. Like, I feel like maybe even some of the representation that was, like, really, really explicit in the original series, even, like, the really bad representation that was explicit in the original series, you know who you are. I feel like that might just kind of be, like, referenced vaguely in a sort of like, hey, if you happen to read the original and know how this was dealt with, you know what we're talking about, but for the new fans, don't worry about it, don't look into this. I feel like they're gonna try to kind of bury their past with that, but in a way where old fans will still, like, have a piece of, like, what was, like, a piece of the original canon to, like, look at and, like, dissect. There's definitely a lot of changes, like, we can see in the pilot that, to the story, like, there's a flip phone involved. Especially if my previous prediction about the whole, like, subtlety thing was wrong. I feel like the word Kenny might be said at least once or twice. Hopefully not by me. What are they gonna do about Cronus? What's gonna happen when he shows up? What are they gonna do about Kankri? That's my big question, because you can't write Kankri in a way that's not gonna, like, either completely change who his character is or make, like, a gigantic subset of the fandom really, really mad, because you can either be making fun of, like, people who care about real world issues, which is not the point of Kankri's character, or you could make fun of what is basically the Vivziepop fandom. Like, you could make fun of the chronically online side of the internet like Kankri was originally supposed to be, but then that's just the audience for this. I feel like this is sort of, like, I feel like they're gonna kind of try to make this, like, a love letter to the fandom, even if I don't think it's kind of more like a creepy stalker situation here. Like, I don't think the fandom wants this love letter. Like, I'm expecting Sharpie bath jokes. I feel like I'm gonna be targeted in this. I feel like they're gonna be talking about Vriska kitties. I feel like there's gonna be... abhorrent amounts of Dove Cat. Like, I'm not a hater, but I feel like it's gonna get a little heavy-handed. I feel like we're gonna lose a lot of the focus on, like, the less important, but, like, the characters that I like the most. Like, the Carapacians. I feel like we're gonna lose the Felt. I feel like we're gonna lose the Midnight Crew. I feel like we're not gonna lose Doc Scratch, which I wish they would. I feel like everyone's gonna be tokenized in some way. Like, June's gonna be the trans one if they go into that, which I hope they do. Like, I sincerely hope they do, but I feel like it's not gonna be dealt with very well. Kanai and Rose are gonna be the lesbian ones. Dove and Karkat are gonna be the gay ones. God forbid they talk about alter humanity, and, like, Nepet is the Therian one. Also, I feel like some of the just canon relationships are gonna be completely butchered because of the fact that they're not gonna want to deal with a bunch of these topics. Like, how are they gonna deal with me and Tavros? How are they gonna deal with that in a way that, like, isn't gonna upset everyone? But, like, I feel like Vivziepop haters are gonna use this as, like, an excuse to hate Vivziepop more, even though there are plenty of perfectly good reasons to hate her that have nothing to do with Homestuck, I promise you. How are they gonna deal with the ancestor parallels? How are they gonna deal with me and Kanai? Is that just not gonna be referenced at all? They're gonna be so weird about Mina. They're gonna be so weird about Mina in so many different ways. That is just an untapped market of just horrible portrayals all around. I feel like they're gonna cast Fefru as a white girl. I hope they don't, but it's hard for me to see a universe where that doesn't happen. How are they gonna do the whole Mina and me dating thing? My ideal world for this would be honestly just an animated version. Like a condensed version of the original series with, like, maybe changes made just to accommodate the medium, which very good points have been brought up about how Homestuck is never going to work as an animation. I agree with that. But if they're going to do it, then I think the best way to do it would be keep it the exact same, and the only changes that are made to the plot and the characters and the dialogue are just made to accommodate the medium. But listen, if they make me say I'm a mind fankini or something ridiculous like that, sword. Okay. I'm not making threats, I'm just pointing out that sword! Look, it's so cool. Sword. Anyway, that's my little rant on what's going on in my little world of the internet. I'm so excited. I genuinely am excited. This is, like, so deep within me, but I genuinely do want them to, like, finish this. Because I just have so much morbid curiosity. If I die not knowing how they would write me and Mina, if I die not knowing how they would write Cronus, that is so disappointing. I want to see that happen so bad. But, like, also it would be horrible. And also, I have too much hope. I'm too much of an optimist. I can't do this. September, I think. See y'all then!